business is deciding you know, which kind of business you want to get into. Now, one of the basic or fundamental methods or ways of getting into that or achieving that is through business research. Now, as a business, as a business coach or consultant or whatever we can refer to, now, how important is business research when you want to start a business?
Very, very important. Uh, Business research is fundamental because you're going to be putting a business plan, aren't you? So, in the business plan, you're going to have to incorporate your SWOT analysis, some pastel, and the marketing mix. So, all that aspects to do with your business. What are SWOT? What is pastel? What is marketing mix? It's just understanding the scope of which you're going to be getting into and yourself in a nutshell.
But that is very technical. I mean,
Of
let's
course. Yeah,
say
let's make it
somebody.
simple. We're on the radio.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, somebody who's he has the passion for business. He
Let's
doesn't know about
simplify it.
he doesn't know all about the SWOT
Yeah.
analysis.
Yeah, no,
Obviously,
yeah,
SWOT
yeah,
is
no.
when
simplify
you're
that.
doing
We're not doing
your
a
strengths,
business degree right now.
your weaknesses, your opportunities, and I know that because I have a background in economics, so I know that. And
But
I thought business, yeah,
Joe Blog
yeah,
may not.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But the
Maybe.
point is, for ordinary Joe in the streets who feel that he has a bit of money, he wants to get into business. You understand? How do you do? I mean,
He needs to, basically, in a nutshell, he needs to understand his environment of that business.
so technically, the business environment.
Yes, as we do. Like,
And how do you do
I
that?
need to know.
How do you do
I
that?
need to know tomorrow if I'm traveling to Scotland, what is the weather like? How will I get there? Will it be snowing? Shall I be cautious about the route? What's the, am I going to use my sat nav? Am I going to catch a train? I mean, you need to know how to get from A to B. Like every business, you want to get your product in the hands of your customer. Your customer is the destination that they need to have that service in their hand or that product. But you need to work your A to B, just like a trip. You need to navigate your business environment in which how you're going to get that product or service to your customer. So hence, you need to do your research. You need to know the climate of that business, what your competitors are up to. One of the key areas is what are they doing now? How much is it selling it for, if any? Let's assume there isn't any. Well, then you're going to have to find out the demographics, i.e., who's your target customer, for example? You need to know, are they in that environment, in that area, that region? You can't just start and say, okay, I happen to be somewhere now in London, in central London by Camberwell, or maybe I'm in North London in Muswell Hill. Figure, is that your audience there? Does that cater for that audience there? If that's all, you're going to be in a physical serving business, i.e. a product, you have to be on the high street, or are you online? So either way, a business research,
Obviously,
back to your question.
which is the new age of virtual
Absolutely.
markets. Subsequently, we'll come to that. But,
Yeah.
but again, this aspect of business research and doing visibility studies brings in this paradigm of risk taking. Now, somebody's venturing into business, he's not quite sure what actually is on on the other end of the journey. All right.
Definitely, yeah. Of course.
Now, as an entrepreneur or prospective entrepreneur, all right. Now, how important is risk taking to starting the business?
It's going to have to be of your day-to-day bread and butter, risk taking as a business owner. And in that, it yields results, because without that risk take, you won't find it. You won't put your foot out into the business world. You will have to take a chance. Every business has taken a chance, because getting profits or yielding revenue may not happen, but you step out in that faith. So yes, to answer your question, it's just it becomes you. If that makes sense. So you literally are aware that, look, I believe in this, and for you to mitigate risk, is you need to have that faith and believe in what you're saying and doing or producing. One way or another, that will help you, in a way, mitigate that risk factor, which will stress you if you are not that risk type of a person, risk averse, for example. You're going to have to put that umbrella on, if that makes sense. And the only way to work on that is having faith in what you're offering, belief in what you're offering, because if you don't, how on earth do you expect me as your consumer to even dare want to even part money with you?
Yeah, but sometimes people are very over ambitious, not truly take into consideration the feasibility of whatever or the potential of whatever that they want to create, the product they want to create. Now, it's not everybody cannot be like Elon Musk, who's a very eccentric kind of business genius, Warren Buffett, or you know, who obviously they have a rather rare ability to take, I would say, unnecessary risk. All right. Now, for the ordinary guy, he just want to create a product. All right. Now, so we have a situation where sometimes people want to take risk and they want to be over ambitious. Is it important? Is it good to be over ambitious if you want to you go into business, or just be ambitious? Which is better, be over ambitious, or
Okay.
because here we have
You
guys
can-
like
yes.
we have guys like Bill Gates, who just he stopped school and started a
To
business
answer
from
your
a
question,
garage.
it's the over ambitious that have got the biggest faith, but you just need to control it. Yeah, you need to have the right people around you, the financial capacity, and also you can't be an excessive spender, for example. You will need to be aware that, look, having that high ambition will come at a cost if you're not careful, because then you may lose sight of smaller things. So you do need to have an inner circle to bring in to weigh and control that high ambition, because sometimes that comes with a higher risk as well. Because then you're going into a territory where you might, lose sight of your focus.
Okay, now you talked about sometimes having people around you and stuff like that. We've been in situations where we've had people accusing others of stealing their business ideas. All right, somebody disguises a business with somebody, and the next time you hear, I mean, I don't know, but I think this guy, I think Liver Roots, the guy who created the sauce. Yeah, I mean, at a point in time, there was this issue that somebody accused him that he had taken, he stole his business idea. Now, so as a potential business owner, how do you safeguard, your business ideas from being stolen? You understand?
There's no harm in saying that you can follow, or maybe, I know close contacts that had sought legal help with a solicitor to just draft it's almost not necessarily terms of business, but it was, because you can copyright some stuff, but that just goes another trademark and stuff. That's another topic for another day. It becomes too complex. But for the sake of thinking, okay, I've got this idea and it's making me not want to share because I think somebody else might steal it, you could endorse or get what you call like a business kind of more or less like endorsement letter with your solicitor. It's got the right terminology, quite frankly, but just do your due diligence, have a word. I think it's not anything more than, let's say, pound sterling in excess of £700, for example, just a couple of sheets that they can do for you. That is part
So
of...
it's like some sort of an intellectual property.
Definitely, and that frames part of your values and mission as well as a business, and you can have that with you, which will be dated, for example. So anything that, let's say, comes beyond or after that, because you got that document that were dated almost, and you know what I mean, you can go through the legal routes in a good, stronger way and sue necessary if that came to that. Worst case scenario.
Oh, okay. Now, business plan is one of the important documentations that, I mean, as a business person, you should consider. All right. Now, because obviously that is the mapping of what business, you want to venture into. You understand?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, generally we know that the business plan details very key areas of the business. Now, to what extent is a business plan integral important to the success of a business?
It's integral in that it showcases, like we say, a structured plan of where you're getting to, but at the same time, it's a reference to see where you have not got to in that you may be faltering. So you can go back. It's like it's a benchmark to look at and say, in our business plan, we were going to do this at a certain time, because you see in that business plan, you have some time scales in there as well. And if at all 2 years later, it so happens you haven't established yourself, let's say, in 2-3 countries in Africa, when initially that was your plan 2 years ago, that benchmark business plan would be your reference point. So it is an integral document at the same time when it comes to funding as well, because it is that showcases who you are, your belief, your mission, your product, why that product, etc. It literally is your Bible to your business. So any business that has never had one, they fall to their wayside, to say the least. And those that do and use it stringently tend to be a success, because it's there, and it's there for funding as well, and getting resources from the high street banks, etc. They will look and ask for that. Accountants can put a word in for you financially standing, provided they may also request for your business plan. So it is it's very fundamental and integral to your business. And equally speaking, like I say, if you then want to venture and expand on your product or services, you can then shift from there in another angle.
Now, I mean, a lot of business consultants are of the view that a business plan has to be very solid. You understand? A business plan has to be well structured. A business plan has to be convincing. Okay. Now, in order to be able to elicit the kind of response that you want from investors or the banks or whoever. Now, what does it mean for a business plan to be very, very solid and very well structured, in that format where it can easily attract investors?
Sure. What that means is
what are some of the key indicators of a
well-structured, indeed,
a formidable business plan?
Yeah, what you're looking for at that point, you're looking at a robust, strong business plan. It will not come off from the word go as a startup. There's no way you will find from the word go you will establish a strong business plan, because business plans evolve. It's like me doing a personal development plan, a PDP, for example, through my career path. I go there and update it as long as where am I going, where are my strengths, what am I working on, what have I succeeded on. Now, to stand very well as a business in front of financial institutions, they want to see your financial standing point. So what capital have you put in as your business to date? Where did those resources come from to date? And how much will that product or service give us in return in the next 12 months, be it in the next couple of years, be it in the next number of years, and how and this, etc. So a good, strong, robust business plan, they are looking at the financial standing of the business. How are you sourcing your income? Are you getting dividends from this business? Who are the shareholders? Who are the directors? All this puts you in a good position. So yes, don't think you can do a business plan overnight. It does take time. You will review it. It can be in a year's time. Now it is strong as it is. And what is 12 months to a business? Nothing. Because then that business plan, could you do 100 grand at some point, because you've done your work, you've done your legwork, and it's now strong enough to stand in that place. Yeah.
We talked about, business plans and stuff like that. Now, the other aspect is how a prospective entrepreneur can be able to showcase, entrepreneurs can be able to bring forth, or in other words, to create, have a competitive advantage within the business environment. You understand? Now, and that is an area that a lot of businesses feel, because of probably the very lucid or very evasive kind of managerial, regimes or structures you understand. Now, as a business coach, I mean, what do you think is the most grounded, method or strategy as a business startup, for you to be able to, be afloat within, the market environment as a startup?
Okay. Man is an island, and neither is a business an island. And many business startups assume they need to just not touch any form of capital. You become almost like, oh gosh, if I even dare spend £50, or if I dare spend £100 a year, I'm going to break, for example, because you're a startup, so you're going to be very shrewd, aren't you? You do need to be shrewd. However, do need to outsource some of your capacity in that. An area where you're not strong, do source those that are able to, and do source people that are experts in those fields, such as if you're not great as being multitasking and you, for example, need a virtual assistant, do get someone in, maybe a couple of times a week, or somebody to do your financing, or a bookkeeper, for example. They're payable by the hour in some places. I can give you some names of people per hour, or Fiverr for the like of me, and and there's so many other platforms, that freelancer platform, for example, where you just be smart, working hard is fun, but work smartly, and also have an eye for that. So put into your forecast of your finances some form of resourcing outside your spec, because that will help you stand strong. Because many startups want to make sure they do everything in-house, and only to find out they'll burn out.
But what if you don't have the financial backbone?
Source the financial backbone and start looking for support elsewhere. It could even start where you as a business speak and sign up with chambers of commerce in your area. Chambers of commerce are with your council or your borough. That will put you in front of other businesses. That will give you a bit of expertise. Also, do find a mentor, like a coach, people such as myself, to coach and just ease off that work pressure and stress that people go through. So to answer you, yes. And if you're like the resources are thin, do start small. Don't think you can start big. You need to grow. So start small. Don't expect too much high growth in the first year alone, even an income, to say the least. So have another source of income coming through the household to maintain the bills that are being paid, because the last thing you want as a startup in the first year is relying on the money coming for your business to pay for your mortgage.
But one of the problems that a lot of businesses have is the ability to separate that business entity from their personal expenses.
That's where the problem kicks in, because then it will be hard to track your finances. Because I've seen businesses
what is the best way
set up yourself a business account
to
and
fight that
separate.
temptation? Yeah.
Absolutely. From the word go, company's house, register yourself. Get on the site, get yourself limited, for example. That already alone makes your business its own entity, its own standing. It will have its own background, it will have its own
bank
credit
accounts,
score, etc. It's separate from you. On top of it, you have your own business account. I know of banks out there that will issue your bank account within a week of setting up your business, for example. So that will in itself help you not have that debit card where you're using your personal card to pay for your Uber ride to see a client. And it happens a lot. So do separate that. It takes a lot of discipline and habits that go on for a good 3 months stick. So stick to the plan, stick to it, and be consistent. And if it's hard, do engage other people that have got the capacity and the expertise. A mentor, a coach is necessary for the first couple of years of a business startup.
Now, another aspect is how businesses, manage their payments to, HMRC and, like sole proprietors and, you have to file accounts and things like that.
In the first year, you don't. In the first year, you're left okay. You have a breather. You don't have to stress about filing anything. You can do self-assessment a year later.
But self-assessment is for just sole proprietors. Yeah.
Precisely. Yeah. So, and then as a business, you find an accountant to come in to do your books for you. So,
your bookkeeping.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you do need to kick that into place. And there's some amazing rates out there now. It's a very competitive world out there that you can get a good deal with an accountant.
Right. Now, at 9 o'clock, the system is going to shut down. Reset the server thing 3 minutes later. So at 9, But you continue. You were saying something about having good rates for filing.
Yeah, so yeah, you can. They are. I mean, there are some places and some services with accountants and firms out there that are. I mean, even people that are just individual, bookkeepers that will do your books for you at a very good rate. So it's
Okay.
necessary. You want to save money, especially as a startup. So do
Okay.
your
All
research.
right. Okay. Yes. I don't know. I think they changed. Okay. Now let's go on. Now this the new age of business is very digital. You understand that right now we have e-commerce virtually. It's like virtual markets are gradually taking up physical markets, and it will be you'll be a big fool not to cash in on the new age of business or the internet world of business. Now, that brings us to the discussion of artificial intelligence and digitized market platforms. Now, one of these key areas is the new age of fintech, if and using computer programs and other technology used to support or enable banking and financial services, and that is one of your areas of expertise. Now, this fintech, I mean, using computer systems and programs, and how does it work?
Yeah, maybe for the audience, I'll just say initially to break it down, fintech in layman's terms is financial technology. That's what it means. So fintech
It's
is
what?
financial
Financial.
technology. That's what it means. Fintech is financial technology. We're using it. We've been using it for some time. Your apps on the phone are linked one way or another to technology, and yeah, so we are using now Web3. Web3 is, we had Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. Web 3 is the space now where we have apps on our phones, we can do video calling. Prior to that, we were on Web 2 where we were just using standard texting. Now I can do a video call on WhatsApp. That's Web 3. But I won't be too technical. So financial technology, fintech space is now a space where, let's say, I've got, there's a bank called Monzo, or I'll just pick that one up, one random one, and it's an app where a number of millions of customers now in the UK have got this account on their phone. What's happened to the high street? As of late, you can see high street banks are shutting down, aren't they? Because we're not going to the banks as much as we used to once upon a time. You go into a bank now, there's only one till open, because we're now financially using our phone. I've got Google Pay on my phone, and I tap my Google Pay, even through train stations, etc., through the shops. I'm using my phone. That is all fintech for you. So when you say fintech, it's already here. We're using it. You're using it. I'm using it as well. It applies the same things similarly when we are doing a lot of bank transfers online. It's all financial technology at the end of the day. So this area of the new age of where things are going is only now advancing, even more so. There'll be far more banks that are going to go off on the high street within the next 10 years. We're not going to see them. Now we're having to shop. Amazon have got stores in the high street where you won't need any cash. You will just need a barcode. That is all fintech for you. They have already got stores now. Sainsbury's are now also following their routes, where you just go in, and provided you've got your Amazon, let's say your Amazon Prime, for example, you've got they've got access to your card on the phone, don't they? So you can go and just literally pick popcorn or beans, etc. You won't pay anything. They'll just charge you. So fintech is here to stay, and so is artificial intelligence in this space of Web3. What that is virtual. So you're virtually shopping. So what happens is now, I mean, you can imagine a day where you could be just wearing an Oculus, the Oculus over your eye, and you're in a store shopping.
Yeah, but as interesting as this new age
New space we're into.
a new age and epic story of, revolutionizing the market space with, digital intelligence. I mean, it also brings a bit of a scare
It sure
that
does.
because I mean that means that we're going to have computers replacing human resource.
Very much
You
so.
understand? And that calls for worry, don't you think so?
It's very worrying. In my own neighborhood, it's an Aldi. I've got other stores nearby, and it's happening to them as well. The tills, we only have one managed till. The rest is help yourself to the counter, and you're doing barcodes after barcode. So we're living in an environment where the barcode is evident. It's in China. It's mass right there. If we think it's here, see China. We just kind of like when China, has got a cold, the West just catches a sneeze. That's what I say, really. But this world of barcoding everything, you have to just take your camera and you scan. And rightly so, it can be a bit of scare, especially us let's say, from a faith point of view, which you and I are. But knowledge is power. The word of God does say, you need to be wise as a serpent. So be mindful that, yes, the times we're in are where we are now. Having said that, just be aware that this is going on. You need to be on top of what's happening and don't be the last one at the end of the queue not knowing what's going on around you. So in a way, that's what's taken me a bit of interest in this space because I want to be observant of what's new, what are they doing, what's going on. So hence, yeah.
In as much as it's so, welcoming and everybody's enjoying, this digital glory and things like that, there's also another problem that we have to address, which is cyber fraud. You understand?
Of course.
Which obviously, a lot of people have been victims to, where people steal other people's credit cards and they buy things. And for that reason, you have a lot of people who are really not into this culture of online purchasing because of they prefer the physical to go into in store and buy. Now, in as much as the world is gravitating to this new dogma or this new paradigm of
Yes, a paradigm shift.
of financial transformation and change, I mean, we are left with no other option than to glorify the moment. Okay, now, but in as much that is the case, we also have to protect our purse. We have to protect, our bank accounts. In that, now, how do we find the line of best fit between this new age that has actually, this new age that we've confronted with, and the aspect of being very protective of, of our bank accounts.
Sure, and I'll come to that. But before even I do, we are in a space of a generation where we have millennials, the Gen Z and the Gen X of this generation. And yes, they are very embracing of this space because they were born and they've been born into it. If you've been born to a time of a revolution such as there is today, you won't know anything else because the likes of you and I came from a time when these things didn't exist. But they are in it. So you can see why there is a wave of acceptance. And it's inevitable. That's what's lining up ahead. Now, to answer your question, is governments and institutions, mainly governments now globally, if more so in the West, are aware of cyber threats, and there's a lot of cyber security issues, and they will use that to now enforce more or less a universal space where they will issue things such as the CBDC. Now, that is like a central banking system where that links to, let's say, the likes of the NHS or your welfare cards. And let's say if you're on welfare or benefits and you're now getting, everything just goes into one place and they'll sell it to us as a form of,
like
this is the way.
A national port.
Precisely. This is the way we'll secure you. You won't have to worry about cyber attack because now we've got the right thing. But that is now sooner than later. It's now coming closer. The likes of our new Prime Minister, I still call him new. We're not even a year in with him. So, Mr. Rishi Sunak backs this, and so do the World Economic Forum as well, and Bill Gates and so forth to say. And I can say this to the audience, you can do your research. So yes, we are going to that direction where cybersecurity will come up as an issue, and that's why they will also sell it even hard on us.
Again, back to the cybersecurity thing, that how are you able to, let's say people do a lot of online purchasing, you understand? I mean, this day and age, you can sit in your comfort of your house, and especially the ladies shop, buy clothes and stuff like that. I mean, even groceries, people buy all those things. So, I mean, this was very helpful during the COVID, the COVID era where people didn't have to go to the shops and things like that, because, and this was delivered at the comfort of their homes and stuff. And now we have a lot of companies that are into this delivery business, where you buy even Tesco and Ocado and other things like that now, which is good, you understand. But the point is that, how do we able to convince people that this is the new age era, and it's important that we cash in on it, because a time will come that there will be no alternative, you understand? I mean, how do we convince people? I mean, just like the COVID, a lot of people didn't want to take the vaccine because they felt that it was a conspiracy. There was this conspiracy theory that a certain group of people wanted to eliminate some sort of now. So you have varying delusional beliefs, boomeranging from all quarters and things like that. Now, this is the new age era. All right. A lot of people are skeptical, especially the aged are skeptical about this new age era. You understand? Could you believe that I had the shock of my life to hear for the first time that there are some people that they don't have mobile phones. There are people who don't have mobile phones because they are still very anachronistic. You understand? Now, so how are we able to drum it, home that this is the new age era, and it's important that people, all get into this new age belief.
My answer to you,
Because people are still skeptical.
yeah, and my answer to you is, as shocking as it may be, it will be that provided that they're being fed, they've got a roof over their head, they've got an income through the door, in my opinion, until anything shifts that pattern, stay as it is, as shocking as that is. And I'll say the reason why is because it's a pace at which the technological space is so advanced and so fast moving that it almost takes you to another space in time. Why do I say that? We're looking at a space in time where businesses, let's say within fashion retail, let's say, for example, you can now go and see a catwalk online, virtually, and have an avatar. We had this movie Avatar, for example, but you have an avatar, you have, a little computerized version of yourself. A certain type of people, like you say, maybe they've never owned mobile phones. I would say to that is fine. If it has not hurt anyone, if that they're keeping a roof over their head, they've got income coming through the door. Solomon, all I can say to that, kudos to them. If anything, I would like not to have one. As much as that, it makes the audience wonder, But yeah, I certainly am a believer of that. That is well and good.
Authentication of authentication ecosystems based on zero knowledge proof. Now, customers are using agree to share information from partner institutions to verify their authentication online, face-to-face, or through phone calls, simplifying authentication procedures,
Absolutely.
offering streamlined access to health records and government services. Now, only information required for each specific transaction is shared, while other data remains safely on the server of trusted providers. Now, we live in a time, especially at this part of the world, where obviously information is shared, you understand, across board, you understand, where you have a central, central system or whatever, where one organization or agency having information is likely to share your information with other other organizations and things like that. Now, how is this so important? How is that so important to the new age of artificial intelligence and business? How important is that?
Big data is big business right now. Big data is in that now information is what is being farmed, in lack of way of putting it, because the more information they have of us, the more they will market to us. And information we're giving of ourselves on these platforms or these corporates, in a sense, has, and you've had experiences, let's say with Facebook,
this is what we're going to talk about.
absolutely. It's all big data. It's information gathering, which can be capitalized and used elsewhere. But then, now governments are stepping in with the cyber issue. So it's all mingling amongst itself as well. So there's advantages and disadvantages in this space. And unfortunately, that's one of them as us, as a people, as consumers. Once we plug in and give in so much of ourselves, as so much as our address and our date of birth. How many times on platforms have you done that? Many. I've lost count. Many platforms I've put my date of birth, my address. Many. I do that even with McDonald's on Uber Eats. That is data that is stored and kept and can be used.
Okay. Now, let's look at this. Cloud computing, it says, will liberate financial services players. Now, this was a McKinsey research that shows that by 2030, cloud technology will account for what it calls an EBITDA, earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization, excess of 1 trillion across the world's top companies. Now, it goes further to say that the research shows that effective use of the cloud can increase the efficiency of migrated application development and maintenance by 38%. What is this about?
The cloud computing?
Yeah.
Cloud computing is a space in where we don't have to have big servers and PCs, where companies back in the day had to have storage facilities for files to store data and stuff. And cloud computing now, we have a lot of, let's say, work from home. A lot of employees have been working from home. What's enabling that is the cloud, because there is now the things like Amazon Cloud Services, Google Cloud Services, Azure, which is part of Microsoft. What they're doing is they've taken all that overhead and legwork of big infrastructures in premises from businesses. And now it's also...
So these are private companies or something?
Absolutely. And even governments or institutions and public sector, for example, that is all now being kept in the cloud. And the issue with cloud space is where we now think of artificial intelligence, because what do you do with data that's in the cloud? It's available only to technological entities, and I'm talking about artificial intelligence. And in the wrong hands, what could they do with this kind of information? And that just adds on and adds on to what you're saying.
Now, one of the problems of this digital world is the issue of hacking. Hackers breaking into big systems, and I mean, there have been situations in America, even this country, where we've had individuals sit in the room and broken into government systems. You understand?
Yeah.
I think about 2 years ago, there was a big scandal in America of this Nigerian guy who stole millions of dollars from breaking into the social security system, the American social security system. So that goes to, vilify the fact that these systems, even though they are run and by governments, are still not secure. If somebody can sit into its, so that means the digital world still has a little, some level of fallibility. So is that not worrying that somebody can sit in his room and hack into your your social security in a government system.
Absolutely, rightly said. And now, with this big movement, recently Elon Musk had put on Twitter to say he was once into cryptocurrency and now he's more into AI. That's what they're trying to implement, to have slightly more robust a system where you cannot hack an AI, for example. So those days of that system being hacked, those were very human-led systems, if that makes sense. We had programmers that were able to program, but now you are having platforms and systems that they're working on in artificial intelligence space, where an AI is talking to the other, and between the two of them, they've got a language, and they can change your programming language, and it's quite terrifying.
You mean like through coding and
Precisely. And the new space of now, if anybody ever wanted to tap into the world of AI, is having to understand LML, which is like language for coding that AI, for example, or to understand and talk to it, is the new courses coming out.
Is that where you have this thing they talk about algorithms and stuff like
Algorithms, yes, absolutely. Let's say ChatGPT, for example. ChatGPT is now quite, mainstream now. People are talking about it. And there are people now providing even course programs for you to be able to instruct the AI on behalf of a company. Because a company would want to use, let's say, ChatGPT, but they need expertise of how to do the job, how they want the job to be done properly. So they will need people, expertise to come in. So there's a lot of space for career movements in that department as well. So people wanting to advance, young people listening now, it's a very massive move in the next 10 years to come.
It's believed that probably from 10 years from now or so, we'll be having robots taking over.
Yes.
You understand? Which is termed the nanotechnology age. That's the highest form of technology.
Absolutely.
You understand?
And even then, what you may see, people might say, "Oh, do you mean a robot walking past me?" You may not necessarily see a real, with metal or robot walking past you. But what we're trying to say is a human being that has got a nanotechnology chip in their head that is become a robot. So they will be among us, if that makes sense. So you won't know who sat opposite you, because he might have just gone through Neuralink and he's had a chip in his head, and he can coordinate with his eyes how things are going to be or move. Like, he can flick with his eyes to switch off the lights, for example, in his house. Would you want to be sitting next to that? I don't think so.
These are.
But that's where the next 10, 15 years is becoming. They're going to be among us.
Obviously, we haven't driverless cars right now, and right now there is I was watching a video the other day. There is this new technology. It's like IVF, where they take sperms and whatever from the woman, and they put it into an incubator, and I think that the baby they keep the baby for a couple of I think number of months in the incubator, and you can choose the type of eyes you want for the baby, the kind of music you want the baby to listen to, and it's so scary, listening to some of these things.
Hollywood have done it. They've shown us already. Hollywood is just a precursor of what's to come, and it's phenomenal. There are new movies that have literally shown what you're just saying now. Like, you have incubators of babies, and you can just pick what you're looking for. And yes, it is here, and it's not gone mass, but again, this generation are embracing this. I mean, have we not all of a sudden, this generation embraced the fact that if I decide to be a man tomorrow, I want you to address me as one, and that will be accepted. Because, hence this area of AI will also be accepted just like that.
Would you say that technology is getting out of hand and has to be controlled?
And I refer back to the word of God, because it says in the end times, technology is going to advance, and referring to knowledge will advance, and this is what we are now. And I believe, yes, it's got out of hand, and touch wood, unfortunately, it's only just picking up pace, because it's only getting faster. But then so is time, because the time is getting short for, somebody to do his time.
Yeah, but in as much as we're saying that we're complaining or we're lamenting about the excesses of technology, it has also come to transform our lives. You understand?
Yes, it
And
has.
so
It has got its benefits and its pros and
it's
cons.
quite
Yeah.
it's quite a problematic issue, trying to justify the new age of technology as a life changer and making
Definitely.
our lives better.
Absolutely. In
And
the right
also,
hands, it's fantastic. In the wrong hands, we can't control those hands. That's the problem we have. There's light and darkness in this world, and unfortunately, some of that technology is landing in the wrong hands.
now,
I mean, I look at the likes of, let's say, video games, or even, let's say, during the pandemic, I'm a mother, and, we've had things like Roblox, and it was massive for children because we couldn't go out, and you have your child sat there watching Roblox, and they made millions, the actual people behind Roblox. Unfortunately, in this platform, which is a virtual space of metaverse and avatars, the little children go in there and they create a little person. I'm going to wear this skirt, I'm going to have these shoes, I'm going to have this hair. And she's created herself, and she's moving with the mouse, and she's running around. And long story short, they were some quite terrible, dark games in there. They were bloody, they were terrible, and they would have young children pretending that they're hacking themselves. But you see, that's technology in the wrong hands, So like you say, yeah, we have advanced to a point where it has had its good. But we, as a people of the light, let's say, we need to enforce that that's what it should be. And hence I've taken interest in this area because I want to make sure that I captivate it for my people from that aspect of light. And I think us as a people shying away of knowing about this space won't help us.
Fintech companies create algorithms and ecosystem for businesses to accept payments for trades and services in the most seamless way possible now. As such, it's safe to conclude that fintech innovation is one of the major growth of drivers for businesses. Now, the most safest growth drivers for businesses. How see, in your estimation, when he says the greatest the major growth of drivers of businesses, what does that mean?
Because Silicon Valley and trading at the moment, they are traders and hedge funds that are putting business capital into fintech trading platforms and trading. So they're putting shorts on fintech. So hence, it's becoming a very big driving force to fund these venture capitalists and businesses as well.
What is a hedge fund? I mean, for people who don't know what a hedge fund is, what is a hedge fund?
It's pretty much a gathering of funds, like fund management. Okay, so it's managing your capital and your assets for you. So when you gain, then they pay out, for example, and a hedge fund, which the heart of London, around the likes of Mayfair, is a very big capital for hedge funds actually, and it's a space where they are managing your resources of funds, i.e., individual funds as well as businesses. They vary, but the cap of which you're entering to work with a hedge fund manager again varies. Okay, so sometimes trusts go there, like if you're a church or if you are a voluntary company, let's say with a charity, for example, you can go to a hedge fund to mitigate and make your funds grow, for example, you know what I mean? So they are there to do that. They work differently to brokers because traders and brokers are just there for the quick financial win for you, whereas a hedge fund will keep your capital.
Okay.
Yeah. And, yeah, grow that.
Business process optimization, it says, according to Deloitte 2019 survey, it shows that businesses that use digital financial services are 3 times more likely to experience revenue growth. Now, by owning a fintech product, you are helping to improve many organizations' proficiency and growth by systematically streamlining financial transaction and investment processes. What do you mean by that? What does that mean?
You're going to have to repeat that. I just went over my head.
Now, it says that it shows that. This is by Deloitte Touche. I think Deloitte Touche is one of the reputable
Yeah,
accountant firms in the world.
Certainly.
Now, it says, according to a report, the 2019 report, it says that businesses that use digital financial services are 3 times more likely to experience revenue growth. That is one. Now, 2, by owning a fintech product, you are helping to improve many organizations' proficiency and growth by systematically streamlining financial transaction investment processes.
It's the ease and fast pace at which you're providing this service to people. Like I say, apps, banking apps, trading apps, plus 500 if you know about that trading app. They've done so well over the number of years, and and they're worth billions now. So all these businesses that have come into the fintech space certainly are faring off well, if that makes sense. So yes, to answer your question, that alone is because we, the consumers, are living in a world where we need fast-paced transactions. I mean, now I can send money to Africa with an app, right? Easily. In fact, there's at least about three apps out there that are enabling even our own Africans to be able to do so. I mean, you're looking at the likes of right now, if I can just pick one up, just randomly, let's say, I can't think of one right now, actually, just over my head. It's the time of the day. But yes, so there are apps even now, even in Africa, where I can just quickly send my money. It's all within the fintech space. So they are veering off well, certainly. And if you out there listening are wanting to dab into this space, do your research and strategize yourself if you can come into the fintech space. I mean, Africa is an emerging market in fintech. So why not our audience or our people alone try to capitalize in this area and see what other competition is out in the West and how we can we can try and emulate for the likes of our people.
And that brings me to the question. I mean, we'll deal with that when we come back from the break. I mean, how this fintech is being accepted in Africa, as a developing economy. I mean, in this part of the world, it's a developed economy. So when you talk about these things, it's quite, adducible. You can easily adapt and you identify with that. But here we have economies that are they are subjugate to hyperinflation. There's so much corruption. You understand, and the entirety of the business environment is very volatile. You understand? So how is this filtering in, taken into perspective these indices? Now, we'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue.
Yes, sure. Okay. Yeah, of course.
Oh la la! TVC Bana Sakani Wobium. Xmas in UK, a Bayer Grabish. With the one by the wire who this Christmas holidays, Monday 26th December. It's a Boxing Day. TVC Bana is pulling up with a legendary Nana Achampon. Nana Champon with Davis in Bana. Ebe butu. Hey.
Akosia na mutini seni akoda ya de sese de sa di nsemu ebusua ese de me pa no yonku de si ono usani mame hwe ya sorry preocupe na fa akora no kona kwagina yaresa adan wo wura fise ebisa wo yi afritwa kunkum ana sanwanwu me di kan etredu no nwotwe di chemu nwotwe no ho na bra na so wo ne Philippine for ekoko wo oba bia no abe e wo humu e mo de to nanim se wo kokko na obewu asante kotokose se wotu so a ehimu enu nti sorry preocupe na tutumirika na fa akora no kokogina yarehwe esanse anoma wo ye ye monopo ma me kosohwe abu ni papi wonwe ma ti se yimu opene okonachi na wasan ababiem sese de onnam posene kane no unim se oba bia cha adwaya na osiesie no hunhumu yade ti se obaidi hunhumu attack adayeso basabasa kodanna abrabo na sinitrase ayemhyehye wo hyehye na adwiregu abrabo mu adeso biada wo ba abroche hayi ya santo apenso nanso wo nko a wo sia na abu wo hyehye na adwire opa na esane sikato wonsam a na ase kai na hu se obiara ni wa watumi atumika esan otwen ho da ma wo ho enye hare na wo de na ankoye se abrodwuma a wafuru bo wieye na afio obeka se wono no ho wono yade adokotafo entimi ansa no enumpo eno ye ho adwuma from ma me koso hwe wo ahoman so 0790846991 0790846991 and 0740580734 0740580734 mama koso hwa na ye twe no a ye twe butentim
Become a successful entrepreneur with Jackie and her professional team. Become a successful entrepreneur. Anase Base. Wami a team of professional teachers of economics, marketing. Ninga omoyebi. So pesa will transform your life from a youth graduate and a school leaver. Nasa pesa uye entrepreneur. Mon contacti Base. Entrepreneur no che say obia ebia wa business. Ebia uye che. But pesa uye no in a professional way. To say Oprah Winfrey. Anaya papa Kwame Despite. Base Bitmama Sa Diano Abim. One your experts ewo coaching and a mentoring. And as person will start our business base for bet show how our ubesi expanding our business and as existing customer base. Base provides support in business plans, step-by-step finance applications and marketing strategies. Base or become a successful entrepreneur also provide entrepreneurship skills through vision and determination. Some per free consultation for a Base ewo
073 99867 417. I repeat 073 99867 417.
And also one more email address info@becomeasuccess.co.uk. Website www.becomeasuccess.co.uk. Mokohwa mobetimi make bookings for an appointment. Base and I said become a successful entrepreneur. Let's turn your vision into a reality.
For you want in with your approach my moha. Yatswedi. Yenye emrenimfo a won akwatare wo emrenimu a potokase emu ye kase a lawyer for entimi no mo mumemfo immigration ensem nyina enkodan wo mo Fortwell solicitors emrenimu akuku drofo se watna ha che ombebua wo ma wonsa kan wo krata na se wedi edron so a eyo mo kokokra eba ni nipa sitina mu ani adwuma mu nsem bia omudim wakotene pa omo wo mre di mani pa bia na de ni ka wo mu poni se no consultation fee.
Fortwell solicitors always puts our clients' needs first. We specialize in all UK visa applications, detention and deportation cases, student and work points-based work permit applications from both UK and abroad. Fortwell Solicitors also deals with long residence and human rights applications outside the immigration rules. Don't wait till last minute. Fortwell Solicitors is located at
Unit 1, ground floor, Katrina House, 58 Clarendon Road, London, N80DJ. Nearest tube station, Tempark Lane and Wood Green. Overground, Holmes Station. Buses 41 to Archway and 144 to Maswa Hill. For more info, call 0203 3257 030. Call our 24-hour line on 0754 8701 011. Website www.fortwellsolicitors.com.
opening hours Monday to Friday 9:30 to 5:30 p.m.
Thursday beyond your Milton Keynes.
Fortwell Solicitors is regulated by SRA.
Fortwell Solicitors are William Waffle.
Back to the studios, and this is Global Asia. This is Global Issues, the platform where we discuss serious issues with serious people, and still, we are discussing business, and I still have the the lady Vivienne Hamington, in the studios helping us, walk on the the patchy seas, the patchy roadway of the new age of technology and business. Now, yeah. So I mean, obviously, we're talking about this fintech and we're trying to make discuss about a certain, about the fact that just a minute. We're talking about business optimization. We're talking about business optimization, and I said that according to the Deloitte survey, it says that by owning the fintech product, you're helping to improve many organizations' proficiency and growth by systematically streamlining financial transactions and investment processes. And I think you were talking about that the time we went to the air.
Yeah, I did. I covered that
Yeah.
earlier. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's go on and look at this concept of artificial intelligence. This new age of technology is quite, it's quite inseparable with the concept of artificial intelligence. You understand? The internet is one of the greatest brainchild of anybody born of a woman. All right? I mean, we live in a time where, through the internet, a lot of things are happening, Now, this age of artificial intelligence now has brought a new age paradigm of thinking, a new age paradigm of how things are done. Now, in your estimation or as a business coach, how important is the internet, you understand, to humans and for that matter businesses, you understand? How important is the internet?
It is very, very important. Businesses have gone away from the time when they were, there was an option whether you had an email account or if you had a website. I don't know if let's go back 15 years ago. Not every business had a website at some point, There were some businesses that were just, they used to say, we are not on the website. You need to come through our door. Those days are now over, if that makes sense, So they're very important to a business. And inevitably in this westernized way of we're doing business out here, it's more so very important in the likes of developing markets as well. Now, for the likes of you and I, how important is it, the internet to us? It is important to a level of degree in how you and I work and operate on a daily basis, because for somebody it may not be. If they are out in farmland, it may not be relevant because they are just toiling the soil and they're being fed, understand? So it's imperative to know that it differentiates us that way, the internet. It works for some, it does not serve everybody. But where we stand today, it's imperative to know that it is very, very important for a business.
Companies like Amazon, Microsoft, you understand, Facebook, all right. Now, these are multinational companies. Do you understand? And we live in a time where these companies or these multinational companies control economies.
Certainly.
Yeah, they're controlling economies, and to the extent that people like the Facebook guy, what's his name?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg was invited to the House of Commons, if I'm not mistaken.
Certainly, yes.
I think the House of Commons and the House of Representatives in America to answer questions. You understand, on some misappropriaties that Facebook had been accused of by certain,
Favoring corporates.
yes, and corporates now. To what extent do you think that these multinational companies, you understand, activities or businesses, is affecting the ordinary lives, you understand, the ordinary lives of, the normal guy who works 9 to 5? To what extent do you think that whatever they do, is affecting us, and therefore
It is affecting us, and it is having an impact because it's dictating how we are shopping and where we are shopping. Because, again, like I say, big data is now being sold. Now, yes, when Mark Zuckerberg was called out to House of Representatives and so forth, they had put in place systems that they were not going to do or adhere to our information to be given readily to these institutions outside of Facebook, which is now called Meta. But yes, we are impacted because I now have myself, even when it comes to AI, it will dictate and show me on my own Google page websites to look at because I've shown interest in one page. So already it's not even no longer Facebook, no longer even the likes of these big Google places. It's just the fact that we are in this space where we've already put in our address, our date of birth, my gender. It's already been gathered. It's almost like speaking in the cloud. One moment you and I are talking about a holiday to, let's say, to Zanzibar. Tonight I go home and all of a sudden I find something that's next door similar to Zanzibar. And I ask myself, how did you know? But yeah, we are being impacted one shape or one way or another.
I think that Google seems to have a monopoly, some sort of information configuring or whatever, because virtually almost every app or whatever is has certain connection with Google.
Yeah,
you understand?
They take precedence
Obviously, now is it a good thing or is it a bad thing that Google has? I mean, is it not in some way flouting the concept of capitalism, where it's a free market, but it seems that Google has had a monopoly on this aspect for a very long time.
And admittedly so. And if you dig deep and look who owns and who are beyond that are the likes of BlackRock, for example, or Avgard, for example, as well. These are big names in this market of the financial world, and they dictate. They're also linked to media. So the ordinary Joe Blogger on the street, there's nothing much they can do. Money talks, money rules the world of this world, I call it. It does. And yeah, they hold the big pie at the table. It is indeed Google, but there are others at the table which are also in the same space. They rub off shoulders of one another, but yeah, to answer your question, that's where we are.
Now,
and it's just getting more.
These companies employ so many people, you understand? They employ thousands and thousands of people, you understand? And also they serve so many people across the world. I mean, recently, there was an erratic shutdown of Facebook that, just that caused a whole kind of euphoria around the world.
Even WhatsApp at some point.
And once WhatsApp, a couple of months ago, you understand? And now that goes to show the influence that these companies are having on the day-to-day lives on people around the,
And they are aware,
now,
it's a form of
can we imagine a
control.
world without Facebook? Can we imagine a world without Twitter? Can we imagine a world without Instagram in the 21st century?
Precisely. That's when the millennials, if I say they've got them by the...
Not only the millennials.
All
I mean,
of us.
people.
Everybody.
Myself,
But
I
use
could,
them-
I
use
mean,
them as an
something,
example
you know.
Because they're, when I look at the numbers and the stats, if I went into statistics right now, they're gone. They're in they've been controlled, and that's their wave. We're in there too, inevitably. However, yeah, it's shocking.
I mean, yeah, it's like, it's a craze. I mean, you get on the train, everybody's on his phone. You go, people on their phones, and It's like on the bus, people on their phones, and
My own
I
children,
mean,
if I
according
take a
to
phone from them, they'll be jittery.
yeah, and
Yeah.
according to psychosocialist or something,
Yeah.
specialist, clinical psychologist, it's according to one of the research saying that these phones and social media is breaking the family unit. You understand? Because gone are the days where people would sit down at the round table as a family and stuff like that. Now these days, I mean, when it's time for dinner, somebody's on his phone somewhere. Everybody's doing his own thing. You understand what I'm saying?
Solomon, if I told you the other day, I was visiting a friend and her daughter called her from her own bedroom, called the mother downstairs on a phone to say, "What's for dinner, mummy?" And they had a conversation in the house on the phone. That's the world we're living in now. Yeah, there's a lot of control, and we don't see it as control. We see it as freedom, but it is it's an undercarpet kind of control that these big institutions and firms have on the people.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about the fact that this new age of business, you understand, sandwiched into this paradigm of artificial intelligence, it's something that is working so fine in this part of the world. Now, if we probably